lecture session Information Systems. Data is the new oil. This was the term coined by the mathematician Clive Hummey in 2006. He compares data to oil because data is so valuable resource. One can refine and drive innovation through data. Data forms the base of information systems. In this session, we are going to talk more about data and information, various levels of data and how it is useful for decision making. Role of information systems in business decisions, data-driven decisions in business operations, IT consulting firms developing information systems, and information systems in governance. Now we are also going to discuss real-world examples in this session. Data is raw facts or figures. Let us say a name, a date, an amount of money spent on something, or the weather, temperature, the population. Anything could be considered as data. Once this data is processed and organized, it forms a beautiful information base. Now we will take a look at how data moves on to next level and forms as an information base. Data is the first level, and once it is processed, it becomes information. So data is unprocessed or unorganized information basically. Now once it is processed and organized and stored for a specific purpose in a specific format, it becomes information. Now information is organized set of data classified and stored for a specific purpose. The example for data was numbers or name, location, temperature as we discussed. Now once this is organized in a particular manner, let us say a person on so and so date went to the store and spent so and so amount. Now this becomes information. Now still it is not clear. We might go ahead and say the person's name, a specific date, the outlet name, and then the amount spent in that outlet. And we can further add on what items or what purchases is spent. Or we can say Bangalore today had 23 degrees Celsius. Now that becomes an information. Now when data is lying in pieces, it needs to be organized and framed properly to form information. Now once the data is organized and formed as an information, we are able to gain insights through that information. It helps us to analyze and make decisions. We can observe the data and understand the patterns in the data. Now this knowledge is very important in making business decisions. Recognizing the patterns in the data and understanding what it is trying to convey is a major task. Now once we see the patterns, it is also important to think on the data. Now this leads to action or wisdom. Now we might have multiple options of choices to make a particular decision, but what would be the best decision? Now the data collected, if it is well organized and if we are able to look at a particular pattern and predict or forecast, then it's going to be a beautiful decision making scenario. Now that's how data leads to information, and information forms the base of knowledge, and knowledge leads to action. Now we are looking at the data hierarchy here. Raw data becomes the processed data. The processed data is becoming the information, and then it provides knowledge to take some wise actions. How the data hierarchy moves from raw data to wise action as we move up in the hierarchy. Let us take a specific example and try to understand this. In the example what we see here, we see the data like on 1st December 24, 2000 units sold for rupees 200 in Delhi. Now that just looks like pieces of data. Now if I organize this data into a systematic manner and call date, number of units, unit price, and then total, like the total is not visible here. Now that's the data what we are going to drive from the basic data. Once this is organized and framed as a beautiful row and columnar data, what we call it the tabular data, we are able to understand the data in a very clear form. Now anybody who looks at this data can understand on 1st December 2024, 2000 units of products were sold with a unit price of 200 rupees, which amounted to the total 4 lakhs rupees. Now the data forms information, and you can see a person is looking at the data and observing and deciding what to do. Now when this huge amount of data is collected and stored and organized, this becomes an information base. We can process and store this data with the help of spreadsheets like Excel or a simple tabular format in any manual or other structures. Now the data what we look here gives us insights. One can observe patterns. Now when you look at the tabular data here, we can see there is an incremental growth in the units sold. We can also observe the total amount sold is increasing, and at one point like on 22nd December it decreased. Now we might want to find out the reason. Now that becomes the back-end process to go and dig further to find the reasons. And that's how, when the data is organized, we are able to look into the depth of information. Now this data stored in the tabular format helps us to gain an understanding there is an increasing trend in certain field of data. Like if I am considering units sold as one field, we will be able to see there is increase in the numerical values. Now the knowledge is a practical approach. In business scenarios, it depends upon the manager's ability to look at the data and make the decisions. Well, we have lot of simulation models today which can tell us decision 1, decision 2, decision 3 and suggest which would be the best decision amongst all. Now we understood information system plays an important role in business decisions. Data collection and storage forms the base of creating a beautiful information system. It serves the purpose of making a purposeful long-term strategic vision, set goals or come out with business decisions. Information systems provides real-time data which is very necessary for the managers. Now this real-time information acts as a decision support system. Now let's look into the role of information systems in business decisions. Information systems helps in data management, decision support systems, enhancing efficiency, forecasting and collaborations. Now when we are looking into the data, we analyze trends is what we understood. Today we have predictive analytics which plays an important role in the data analytics. It helps us to save time and reduce efforts. The data is not in one place. It is scattered and comes from different sources. So a collaborative approach is very much required to pool the data from different points. In this diagram, you can see people are sitting with the data sheets and there are a lot of infographics which are represented on the board. Now, graphs can be generated with the help of data patterns, and today data visualization helps managers to forecast and predict the possibilities. And these possibilities are nearest to the business scenarios. Now in this diagram, we can also see people are trying to understand the numerical values, looking at their report, brainstorming and coming out with some major decisions. We need to understand most of the business operations today are data driven. Data driven decision making is a process that involves using data and analyze to make business decisions. This approach helps to achieve accuracy, reduce bias and leads to better outcomes. Now this is a small clipping which was taken from the AWS portal site. Now Volkswagen streamlined access to data across multiple databases, what we call it as data lakes, using Amazon Data Zone. Now we might not understand at the first reference now what is this data lake. In this clipping, we can see how Volkswagen is streamlining access to data across multiple data lakes using Amazon Data Zone. Just to read the clipping, we understand over the years, organizations have invested in creating purpose-built cloud-based data lakes that are siloed from one another. A major challenge is enabling cross-organizational discovery and access to data across these multiple data lakes, each built on different technology stacks. Volkswagen uses AWS to make the process simple while keeping the data consistent, secure and well governed. Now we also have a small example to understand this data structure. We need to understand in a very simple way, data needs to be collected, analyzed and then used for decision making. Now these decision making could be towards business goals. Now in the diagram, what we understand is there is a flow of data which is coming from one end and going to the major information system which helps to understand the customer feedback. The same is also referred in the block site in the reference notes. Please refer to that details. Now when we look at the benefits of data driven decision, we see that there is improved customer insights, operational efficiency, risk management and enhanced innovation. Some of the examples what we can consider for data driven decisions. Now we understand data driven business model is all about looking at the data rather than relying on intuition. Now let's just move forward to understand how information systems are created to build such huge databases. Who helps business organizations build such information systems? Whether it is a small, medium or large organization, today everybody wants to incorporate an information system which helps them in decision making. Not all organizations are capable of building their own information systems. So who are the organizations who are available or who can help small or medium firms build information systems? While large organizations can rely on their in-house IT department and heads who can form an in-house department to build the software, information system and other resources which is required for their organizations, there are smaller organizations who still rely on the ready-made applications available in the market. While few of them outsource this task for IT consultancies, there is still a kind of fear in the organizations like, can we outsource this task to others, because the moment we outsource, all the business information is known to the other outside party, which could be a information system developing agency. We need not worry about this. The reason is today information acts and policies have been designed to secure and assure these discrepancies. Now, IT consulting services encompass a wide range of activities including strategic IT planning, system implementation and integration. IT security and compliance are at highest levels today. These services aim to optimize a business's technology infrastructure and drive business growth. IT consulting firms can develop a variety of tasks including application developments, software testing and strategic planning. Now these services aim to optimize the business technologies infrastructure and drive business growth. India is expected to see a significant increase in the adoption of digital technologies such as cloud computing, data analytics and artificial intelligence. In the coming years, these technologies are transforming the way small and medium businesses are operating, and it is enabling those organizations to become agile and efficient. One of the key trends that we can expect to see in the future of IT consulting is the increasing focus on digital transformation. As businesses seek to modernize their operations and leverage power of emerging technologies, IT consultants will be at the forefront for guiding them through this process. Now, having understood information systems are required and are created by huge IT consulting firms, we will now see whether an information system is also a requirement for government organizations. Definitely yes. Now, India is the pioneer in IT development. Information systems have been the key driving agents in the governance. Information system in governance illustrate how it plays a major role in functioning of modern governance, enabling more effective, transparent and accountable government operations. We have examples of G2C, or what we call it as governance to citizens as a model, and governance to business, G2B. Now, models G2C or G2B have been built for different purposes. While G2C is for all the citizens of the country, G2B is for the business entities. Now, both of it serves the different purpose. While G2C enables lot of civic communities oriented towards citizens, G2B encourages lot of business integration towards the government and the business organizations. What are the information systems in governance? If we look at, we have e-governance, where any of the activity is extended to the citizens or organizations through the government portal. Maybe some of the activities like tax filing, e-visa applications, digital public service portals. Government of India has initiated lot of digital activities, projects towards this scheme. Now, government is trying to reach the citizens through these portals, which could extend the service in a transparent and efficient manner. Public information systems like government websites, public dashboards and open data portals play a major role in showing the transparency and bringing the data direct to the citizens. There are a lot of geographical information systems or GIS, which is majorly useful for urban planning tools or disaster management systems. We have spatial technologies which have been developed under GIS, which serve a different purpose altogether. Property identification, property notifying and recognizing, all these things today are done through online portals. Another major development in decision support system of governance is budget planning systems, environmental impact assessment tools or communicating information through any of the portals which is available to the government. There are environmental monitoring systems, health and safety compliance tools which could improve the regulatory enforcement, reduce the risk of violation, enhancing public safety. Now, there are a lot of such cyber security systems which have been incorporated, which is mostly needed by the banking system, the police department or women and children's safety departments. Education sector is one of the most benefited sector when it comes to Digital India schemes. Now, one of the schemes what we are learning under Swayam is also a best example to know how education can reach to the corners of India. This is possible because today through internet and smartphone, any student who is willing to learn can sit in one corner or a remote place and access the digital content to enhance their knowledge. Now, we can say that Digital India is a flagship program of the Government of India with a vision to transform India into the digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. The program was launched on July 1st, 2015 by our Honorable Prime Minister. We all are the beneficiaries of this scheme. It recognized 9 pillars of Digital India, which we can see in the diagram. The 9 pillars of Digital India recognized are as shown in the picture. Now, we can see everything from IT job to electronics manufacturing sectors, target net zero imports, information for all or e-Kranti, electronic delivery of services, e-governance, universal access to phones, broadband highways, such schemes which have enabled India in emerging as a strong digital economy. Now, here are few clippings to show the Digital India initiatives which has helped the citizens of India. Now, this information system is purely for the governance purpose, connecting the citizens to the government and reducing the gap between the government and the citizens. Now, let's just recap what we discussed in this session. Information systems is not only important for business organizations, but it is also equally important for the governance. Every country today is striving to achieve digital economy. In this chapter, we discussed how data, information, knowledge and actions are hierarchical levels, and further we understood how information systems are created by IT firms based on the requirement of small, medium or large organizations. We also understood information system is very important for governance. Now let's take a look at few interesting facts from this chapter. Now these are some of the interesting things. Take a look at the slides. In the next unit, we are going to discuss the components of information system. Now there are 5 major components of information system like software, hardware, data, people and network. We'll learn more about them in the next module. Thank you.